31,035 minus 2,557. Okay, so one of the best ways to start out with these kinds of problems is just to rewrite it into a format that we can actually use to solve. So let's write this out. 31, 0, 3, 5. You can see I'm spreading out my digits, and I always do that so I have plenty of room. And then I'm going to subtract 2,557, but I write them backwards. So I start from the units column, and I do that, even though it's a little bit awkward, I do that so that I make sure I keep each digit in its correct place value. Okay, so now I'm pretty much ready to start solving this equation. So let's start. We go column by column, so like this, and the first one I want to do is 5 minus 7. Well, obviously I can't take 7 away from 5, so I have to borrow from the column over. So I take 1 away from 3. So that 1 goes in front of the 5. And because I've taken 1 from 3, that's not a 3 anymore, that has to be a 2. So now I can solve the original column, so the units column. 15 minus 7 is 8. Right, that's done. Now I can go over, and it's 2 minus 5. But I can't do 2 minus 5, so I have to go over to the next column, but there's nothing there. So I go over to the next column, and I take 1 from here, and put it in front of that number, so that becomes a 10. If I've taken 1 away from 1, I'm left with 0. I've got 10 minus 5, but remember, I'm still dealing with 2 minus 5 over here. So again, I still need to borrow. So take 1 away from here, put it in front of the 2, and this 10 becomes a 9. 12 minus 5 is 7. 9 minus 5 is 4. 0 minus 2 can't be done, so again, I go over 1 and borrow 1 from there to make it 10, to make this column 10. If I've taken 1 away from the 3, this becomes a 2. So now it's 10 minus 2, and that's 8, and then 2 minus 0 is 2. So I end up with 28,478. Is that kind of a reasonable answer? So if I start with 31,000, just rounding off the original question, and I'm going to take away about, I don't know, 3,000, so 2,500, right? So take away 3,000. What does that equal? That kind of equals about 28,000. So this answer looks reasonable. This answer does look reasonable. But I can check it, and so you can also go that extra step and check your working. So you do that by starting with your answer. So you think the answer is 28,478, and I'm going to prove it. So you prove it by using an opposite operation. So we started with minus, so the opposite to minus is to add. And all I need to do is add one of these numbers, either that one or that one. It doesn't matter which one I use. I'm going to use this one here. This is a bit smaller. So again, I write it down backwards. So from the units column through, so 7, 5, 5, 2. Okay, now I can add them up. 8 plus 7 is 15, so the 5 goes there, carry that. So 1 plus 7 plus 5 is 13. Put the 3 there, put the 1 there. 5 plus 4 plus 1 is 10. 0 goes here, 1 goes here. 1 plus 8 plus 2 is 11, so 1 goes here, 1 goes here. And 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, I've used the answer in my check. I've used this number in my check. Does this number appear in the question as well? 31035, 31035, it does. So that is also used here. Therefore, all these numbers appear in both of these equations. Therefore, this answer must be correct.